Hello, hello, my dear lovely Virgos. This is your horoscope for May 2024. And May is going to be major month for you, my dear Virgos. Finally, planet of happiness and luck and prosperity and expansion, Jupiter, is moving into your 10th house for a whole year to stay there a year and boost your self-confidence and fire up your career house because 10th house is the highest house of horoscope. That means that we are visible finally. You are visible, my dear Virgos. Your talents are going to be visible to the whole world because you're going to get all the prizes and all sorts of titles, especially high profile titles, all sorts of social status titles, and promotions as well. This is going to be your most amazing, the most luckiest year, and it's happening from 26th of May until June 2025. Do not miss this year, my dear Virgos. Make effort, go out there, showcase your talents, and the world will recognize it with such an ease and admiration. And Jupiter, my dear Virgos, will be helping you whole year. Jupiter is the most luckiest planet in astrology because it signifies the luck, prosperity, all things possible, positive, that you can think of in your mind. And 10th house is the house where whole world looks at us, when you're gonna shine. So you might get, you will be getting from 26th of May all sorts of achievements for your past work done. Titles, you might change your job to a new high profile job, or you might, raise your career profile, like within your organization you might get promotions, not once or even twice you can get it, because Jupiter is that planet of expansion. It's gonna be expanding your career house. 10th house is the house of career, so Jupiter will promise you to find that stellar job, the wish job that you've been wishing for so long. And if you had such a dream about particular job or position, apply in June, starting June, my dear Virgos, or even now, because for those kind of positions like high profile and CEO positions, it takes months, right, to go all rounds of interview and then land the job finally. And Jupiter will help you and will guide you, to your stellar career ladder, my dear Virgos. You might write down now what is your position and just check back in June 2025, and you will see how Jupiter helped you to actually maximize your full potential and job-wise, and jump one or two big steps in your career up, of course, my dear Virgos. 10th house is also house of social status. It seems like many of you will get married next year, especially those who has a steady sweetheart, my dear Virgos. It seems like you would want to take another step in your relationship and make it official. You will get a husband or wife status, social status, or vice versa. It might be also a divorce, but in this case, it will be more or less a pleasant divorce for you, my dear Virgos, it seems like, because Jupiter is the planet, when you will come to this decision with such an ease, and it might be even amicable divorce with your wife or husband. Everything will go very smooth, let's say. Social status, it's also maybe you're becoming father. So next year, my dear Virgos, many of you will become parents or mother also, or grandmother, grandfather. So think in this kind of, area. So main topics here for you: Jupiter will bring change, positive change to your career and your social status, and also 10th house, it could be your father's life, because 10th house is in astrology covers your father's or your manager's life. In their life, there might be some big changes happening that will be affecting directly you, my dear Virgos. Also, all sorts of nominations, titles, achievement, prizes. You might get, nominated during next year, and from June to next June, my dear Virgos. I'm really, really happy for you guys. Jupiter in the 10th house will be amazing for you guys. Well done and well deserved. Promotions are ahead of you guys. because your reputation will expand as well, because Jupiter is the planet of luck and expansion, and 10th house is also reputation. You will have big influence, my dear Virgos, and you will become very, very influential, quite powerful. Amazing news, isn't it? Now, about this Jupiter, from last May 2023 until this May 2024, it was transiting your house of education, your travel house. Many of you guys might have, traveled quite a lot and far places during last year and up until May. Also, like communicating with all sorts of foreign companies, foreigners, even speaking different language, learning couple, even winning some legal litigations, my dear Virgos, because Jupiter was protecting you whole last year and this year, half of this year until May. If you've been in kind of a legal case and all sorts of dealings, like legal dealings, then Jupiter was greatly helping you in your house of, all sorts of foreign and legal. Also, could be you've graduated, you've studied, or you begin your studies in a foreign country, foreign universities. Ninth house is also a house of publishing. You could have published one or two of your books, my dear Virgos, that went extremely well, and it will go well when Jupiter and Uranus, planet of surprise, and plus Sun, our giver of life, will connect in your ninth house in May, which will happen between 13th and 20th of May. Those days will be for you the luckiest days of May, my dear Virgos. If you still have this kind of things to do around publishing a book, your education, it doesn't matter where, like university, college, or high school, taking some exams, also some things to do with teachers or teaching, also legal affairs, legal cases and processes, and foreign affairs like documents, visa, language courses. These all things will shine for you extremely lucky light, my dear Virgos, during those days, 13th and between 13th and 20th of May. So mark those days, and if you have some things to do, and it seems like you will be having around those days, with the topics that I mentioned, you better do around those days. And Sun here will come together, join forces with Jupiter and Uranus, and that conjunction might bring some positive news around those topics, my dear Virgos. Okay, let's go step by step from the beginning of May. On 2nd of May, Pluto, planet of transformation, planet of big money, will go retrograde for half year until 13th of October in your house of work, my dear Virgos. Now, Pluto retrograding, meaning moving backwards. Simply speaking, slowing down. The influence will be slower. It will not cease to exist, but it will just deliver the news with delay, let's say. This is the simplest, explanation what retrograding means. Now, every planet retrograde except Moon and Sun, my dear Virgos. Now, Pluto will retrograde because it's a big planet and it usually retrogrades for longer periods, and this time it will take almost half a year, beginning from 2nd of May until 13th of October. And Pluto will dip back into your 5th house for the last time in our lifetime, and will never go back there in our lifetime, and it will move into your 6th house for 20 years. For the next 20 years, it will be transforming your house of work. 6th house is a house of everyday routine, what we do every day. And 6th house is also house of health, house of sport, and taking responsibilities, obligations house, and solving problems. Here, Pluto will teach you, and for the next 20 years, how to approach issues in your life and problems, and even make you wiser, and will train you how to solve them in a much more diplomatic way. You are born communicators, my dear Virgos, and Pluto will here even give you more power with your communication skills in solving problems and day-to-day responsibilities, my dear Virgos. And Pluto here in your 6th house might indicate, you might be, let's say, dealing with your old companies where you've worked before, with your workplace, let's say, or if you're a company owner, maybe you will reopen your previous company, or you might be dealing with the documents like closing. Let's say you've closed the company, but then you need to deal with the documents, like officially do that, or maybe you will be dealing with your ex-colleagues. Some of your ex-colleagues or one of them might come back into your life, and you might connect again during this time and communicate with each other. Also, your ex-manager also might contact you here, or you might be just getting simply some news about your ex-colleagues, ex-managers, and boss and company in general. Sixth house is also house of, as I said, everyday life, our routine, what we eat, what is our schedule, regime. Now, those things might be a bit changing. You might be going back to what you've been doing before, like going to the old like gym that you've been member before, or doing same exercises that you've done before. Something like going back to your old habits. Sixth house is also eating habits house. It might be that you will again go on a diet maybe, or previous like eating schedule, and your preferences in food as well might come back, let's say. Or also it's about people who work for us, like our assistants or nannies or cleaning ladies, let's say, if you have one, or any other staff members, like they work for us. Maybe some of them might come back, or one of them might come back into your life to provide services. This could be your Pluto in your house of work until 13th of October. And after that, when it goes direct, it will move back into your this house of work for 20 years to reshape it, rebuild it completely. Now, 8th of May, we have a new moon in your house of travel, house of all foreign, house of legal cases, all legal affairs, and house of education. New moon and ninth house is in general, the house is responsible for the part of life where we are trying to find meaning of our lives. And it might be that your perception could be changing about what is for you meaning of your life. And you might be thinking about it quite a lot around this new moon, because this new moon is highly positive one. It will have amazing support from Saturn, planet of responsibilities, planet of discipline and time. Now, Saturn is transiting your house of marriage and business partnerships house. But Saturn, naturally in your natal chart, rules your another house of love, true love house, fifth house. Now, it seems like more about some sort of love, either business kind of relationships that is, with a foreigner or with a foreign company, or it might be you are involved in a foreign business kind of thing, or you might have a foreign client, or you are in talks, let's say, with the companies that are abroad or very far, and companies that have, let's say, offices and headquarters somewhere in a different country than yours. And this new moon might bring for you some sort of new collaboration, let's say. It might be new contract, maybe job contract, or it might be partnership, business partnership, like opening some sort of business together with your foreign investors or foreign partners, or someone who will be interested to expand your business. And if for some of you guys, it might be about love. And here, it might be that you guys, those of you who are single, you might meet someone very special. And that someone will be speaking different language than yours. And in general, background might be different. Even if you would be, let's say, from same country, but ethnically speaking, might, come from a different culture. And that meet up, with that person will be for quite long. That person will stay in your life for a very long time, because Saturn is the planet of age and a long time. Now, also it could be if you let's say, dating, you might, want to take your relationship further, step up, let's say, with that person, and even propose by this new moon. New moon is from the word new beginnings, new life, any news. By the way, all new moons are full moons. It's, they come up with 5 days plus, 5 days minus when they appear. So allow it 10 days in general, around 8th of May, to bring you that message. I'm trying here to help you to figure out what area of life will be activated by this new moon. So some of you might be busy with visas or foreign documents, all things related to those travel documents, let's say, or passport. You might get your new passport or a visa approved, or a document like what is this, permanent residence permit or temporary residence permits. All these things, work permits, might get approved, and you might receive very good news around this time. And even you might migrate somewhere, immigrate to a new country for a long time, maybe because of a business partnership, like for some company, or maybe because for love. Person that you love lives somewhere abroad, and it might be that you've applied before, like previously, to work permits in that country, and now you're gonna receive the news that it got approved, and you're gonna travel and unite with that person finally. Also, some sort of travel indicated here around 8th of May, plus or minus 5 days. So you might, travel somewhere far, very nice place. And it seems like if you're married, my dear Virgos, like those of you who are married, husbands and wives, or long-term partners, like girlfriends and boyfriends also, you might travel together. And it seems like for pleasure and for business together, you will be kind of sort of combining these things. What else here? 9th house is also education house. I said, those of you who are studying, my dears, for you guys, it seems like you are getting your degree, or you are defending your thesis, let's say, or it might be you're publishing your research somewhere. And those who are, by the way, are authors and writers, your book or an article is getting published by this new moon. Most probably those editor houses, they will be contacting you for collaboration. What else here? Or you might start your education. Maybe you would want to, upgrade your skills, and you will go back to school, let's say to some college or degree, to take a new degree, acquire some sort of skills. This 9th house in your chart will be activated by your ruler, Mercury, planet of communications and signing contract. On 15th of May, it will enter your 9th of house, and already direct motion, unlike April when it was retrograding, giving us a bit of a hard time with signing papers and mixing up all dates and numbers. But here it is full force direct, and it seems like you will be quite busy with this kind of, travel documents, legal documents, foreign documents, also education. You might be quite a lot of reading here, and communicating with all sorts of people that are, from different sort of walks of life. Your kind of surrounding gets diverse. On 20th of May, Sun moves into your 10th house. Now, by the end of the May, my dear Virgos, your 10th house is getting activated. As I said in the beginning of this horoscope, in the beginning of this video, Jupiter, planet of luck, will move for a whole year on 26th of May into your 10th house. On 20th of May, Sun will come and hit your 10th house as well, lighting up your passion, your hunger for social status and career success, your interest. And 23rd of May, Venus, planet of love and beauty and also money, will come and visit your 10th house too. So, all the benefic planets will gather up in your 10th house. That is such an amazing period for you, my dear Virgos. End of May is perfect, picture perfect, heavenly perfect for you to apply for positions, to apply for a job that you wish to have always, to go for your dreams, to make it bigger, to open your business, to, have an interview, to schedule an interview, and to get into some sort of collaborations, partnerships, and that also get into communication with potential business partners. So it will be very lit house, my dear Virgos, for you. So full force, go ahead. You have support from the universe, my dear Virgos. Now on 23rd of May, we have full moon. That's how May will say bye-bye to us. Full moons are all about, endings. They bring something to a conclusion that was usually already, building up there, bubbling up there, boiling there. And it will reach its climax on 23rd of May, some situation in your family, because this full moon falls in your house of family and at 2 degrees, meaning those who are born around 24th of August will be affected the most. 5 days plus, 5 days minus around this date. And full moons also, like, they also have this kind of feature to bring into your attention something that you've been, let's say, ignoring, or something that you've not been noticing, let's say. And this full moon will be supported by Pluto, planet of transformation, from your house of work and health. And here it seems like that your family coming to our attention, some situation was there already and will come to its finale, let's say. Now, it might be that one of your family members, let's say, moving to another country, and you will get this news and your family composition change, like number of people there, or your brother or sister getting married and your your family is getting fuller, bigger, let's say, or giving birth, let's say, to your niece or nephew. Also for houses, the parents' life, especially your mother's life, something about your mother is coming to conclusion. Especially it might be related to her health. Also, maybe there was some concerns previously about her health, and this full moon might bring some information to the surface about her health, or that she's getting well, let's say. Maybe, like, because this is full moon, this is ending, it's kind of ending for her sufferings, if that's your case, my dear Virgos. Or it might be about work, let's say her work. Someone, also not necessarily hers, but maybe it's someone from your family, maybe they are finishing also their work or quitting their job, and there might be some sort of information around that in your family. Fourth house is also house of real estate, my dear Virgos. Now, those of you who've been trying to buy a house or an apartment or any sort of real estate or some sort of investment, this full moon might bring this to a conclusion. You might be signing the papers. Maybe your work also helping in that kind of term, like taking loans, providing reference letters, and some things around that, so that you could actually you can buy this house and apartment or any real estate. So this full moon, it might be about real estate that you've been wishing to buy or sell. It might be also about selling. You might be selling it to your colleague, possibly. Pluto naturally, rules your third house. Third house is the communication house, signing contract, and it seems like there might be some papers to sign for you around this full moon, my dear Virgos. Or it might be about your living situation, like the current house that you have or apartment that you're living in, your place, So it might be some fixing going on. Maybe you've been trying to rebuild it or fix some things, maybe change some things like, furniture or walls, colors. Some things might be going on in your, let's say, with your apartment or house. And now that full moon brings to those things some conclusion, like installing new kind of devices and new furniture and all these kind of things. I'm giving you just in general what might be going on, but the main point here is that some things might be about your house, either future or current. Now, fourth house is also house of immigration and citizenship. And here it might be, maybe you are planning to immigrate because of work. Because let's say your company is sending you somewhere and you will immigrate very soon, and you will have to get ready for immigration, or even immigrating now by this full moon around 23rd of May, my dear Virgos. Now, this was your horoscope for May 2024. Make sure to check your rising sign and moon sign together so that you get full picture of the month ahead. And I love you all. Stay tuned for June. Bye bye.